Hello, and thanks for watching this Vtex Acumatica integration brought to you by Cloud9 ISV Solutions. In this video, we're going to show you a little bit about our Vtex connector. We'll place an order online and show you the workflow from order to payment to shipment. So you can see here, our connector is built into Acumatica and all the screens of Acumatica. So you have your connection settings here. These are the entities that we support, and you can manage them here. So for example, if you wanted to take a look at customer, you can click on that, and you can see you can do your own custom mappings. Of course, we do all the basic mappings. You could also do things like filters. So for example, maybe there's certain types of customers that you don't want the synchronization to work on. But if we go back, you can see our customer settings. So when a new customer is created, this is the default customer class. You can see the auto numbering batch. You can change that if you want, create a new numbering scheme and change that. Vtex supports guest customers. So meaning customers can go and check out, provide their email address and address information. And in Acumatica, when we detect that, we can use a default generic customer, where the order information, the shipping address, and all that stuff will be overridden, but you don't have to have a new customer for each one. When orders come in, this is the default order type. Of course, you can change this and pick a different order type. So for example, if you want to bring in and separate your orders that are keyed in versus orders that come in from other channels, you can certainly separate those by picking a different order type. You can create one and then see it here and map it. And then your payment settings. So whatever payment method you have over in Vtex, you can locate it and then choose that appropriate payment method that you want to map up in Acumatica. So it works the same way for shipping methods as well. So let's get started with a order. So we'll go over to our shopping cart. We'll search for an item. And we'll add it to the cart. We'll choose our email address here. Vtex remembered me and picked up my email address, but I didn't have to log in. But it knows that I'm placing that order for me. So now we have our order created, and we'll get an email. Vtex will dispatch an email to me, the shopper, with my order information, my order confirmation. And for those of you who are familiar with the Vtex admin panel, if we switch over to it and click on our orders, you can see our order is here. It's ready for handling. That's the status. If we open it up, you can see Vtex does a great job of showing you the flow. We'll go back. Now, if we go back to Acumatica, we have a prepare and a process data. So prepare brings the data over from Vtex into a staging area, and then process data actually does the work. Same thing when we're exporting data. So for example, stock items. When we prepare, we actually pull it out and put it into a staging table where we can track it. We can track the history, track any error messages that we might encounter, and then process data would push it out to Vtex. So if we go to prepare data and we select our sales order, that's the entity that we're going to be working on. It's set to a sync direction of import. We'll prepare it. And that's done. Now if we go into, and I'll leave that open, we'll open up another tab for process data. And once again, if we change our entity and filter by sales order, we can see orders that can come in. And if we go over to our order panel, our admin panel, you can see it's 5580. And if we go back, that's what that is right here, 5580. That's our order. So if we select it and hit process, that will import the order. Now, the way this works, all of these screens have a scheduler. So you can add a scheduler to have this occur, and however often you want it to occur, you can bring in the data every 5 minutes, every hour, depending upon what works best for your business. Now, one feature we don't have out yet is a push real-time order. So once this is completed, and this should be out this year, as soon as orders come into Vtex, Vtex sends a push notification to Acumatica. Acumatica knows to fire this synchronization immediately. So let's process this. And now if we open up our sales orders, open it up in another tab, you can see our sales order has come through. Now notice this shows our guest customer. So that's the name that we have here. Also notice that it shows the order number, the Vtex order number, under the description. So that's helpful because then we can search for it easily. But if we open it up, you can see the item. And if we go to our addresses tab, notice what we did here. We're overriding the information because this is a guest customer. So we want to pull that address information and contact information from Vtex so we know where to ship and how to contact the customer. Now, if we create this shipment, and we add a package, now if we confirm it, so now we've confirmed our shipment. We have our tracking number here, and of course the label, and depending upon how you have Acumatica set up, your entire WMS process would hold true. The label would print out. But if we go back to our prepared data and we select shipment, and we go back to our process screen and we change this to shipment. So our connector detected that we've confirmed this shipment, and therefore it picked it up so that we can synchronize it back out to Vtex. So we'll select it and click process. And now after syncing this, Vtex now knows that this has been shipped out with the tracking information. Now if we go back to our admin panel and we go to all orders, you can see that this has now been invoiced. And that's the Vtex term for the fact that it's been shipped out. Notice if we scroll down, we can see the tracking information. And once again, a really cool feature that Vtex has is its ability to track and put a timeline together about what happened with this order. If we go over to our shopping cart page and we can sign in, again, we're a guest user, so we can sign in with receiving an access code. I'll hit send here. So we'll confirm here. And as a shopper, if we take a look at our order placed today, and we click on View Order Details, you can see our order history and delivering to carrier right now. Vtex will look up this FedEx number and provide some additional information, which makes it convenient to the shopper so that they don't have to necessarily look up the tracking number manually. But you can see the tracking number here anyway. And as soon as this tracking number becomes real, you'll see ship order. Additionally, if we go back to Acumatica and we open up a stock item, so we'll take this Acer laptop computer here, our integration will export out stock items as well. So we're looking at an Acer laptop computer, for example, and if we go over to our e-commerce tab, you can see some of the settings we have here in terms of visibility. And additionally, the media URL, this is where you'd put the item image. Vtex requires a few things to be in place before the item will show up. So one of them is the image. So you'd put your URL here, as many as you needed, right here. Over under attributes, you'd put your sales category, and you'd select your sales category or categories, as many as you needed for this item to show up under. And then when you're in Acumatica, you would go and sync your stock items. I want to show the sync history screen. So the sync history screen gives you the visibility to see your items and the status of their synchronization. So we're looking at, for example, a sales category that was processed, and we forced it to resync. Here was the last attempt that the synchronization ran and the number of attempts. But you'll notice that we have filters here. So you have ready to process. These are items that are ready to process. So this gives you great visibility to see what's going on and where there may be problems. Remember, there's two different systems. Acumatica and Vtex are different. They have different requirements for different elements. There may be stock item requirements that Vtex needs that Acumatica doesn't. So you'll run into some sync errors, but the synchronization errors will show you here, and then you can correct them as you need. Additionally, notice the ERP ID as well as the external ID. So this gives you the ability to click on that item either in Vtex here, or for the ERP ID, you can click right here and Acumatica will open up its item, whatever that is. In this case, it's an order. Lastly, if we go to our commerce screen and we go to our dashboard, we have a built-in dashboard here that summarizes the total number of records falling into these different categories. Additionally, it'll show you total revenue, total unpaid orders, if there are any. So these dashboards can be very useful. Keep in mind that all the data in Acumatica is accessible to generic inquiries and dashboards. So the sky's the limit as to what you can produce here and display visually. And then lastly, we talk about dashboards and generic inquiry data. Acumatica gives you the ability to create business event notifications. Anytime there's something here that is something you need to know about, maybe it's an order at a certain value that for whatever reason didn't sync, whatever it is, you can get yourself notifications or text messages or pop-up notifications on your mobile device and get the information that's important to you quickly. So that's our Vtex integration to Acumatica, built on the Acumatica Commerce platform. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us. You'll find this on the Acumatica Marketplace. And thanks so much for watching.